on. You'll see, we'll introduce you to some folks in a little bit. But for now, I want to welcome Gani and Zandra, who are joining me all together today, exceptionally. Gani has been with us for more than a year now as an instructor. And actually, same for Zandra. Hey, guys, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up? Doing good?
All right. And as I mentioned, we have also special guests. If you look in my background right here, you're going to see Pauline and Adrienne, who are, they're actually here from the French television. They are producing a show. It's called 66 Minutes, and it's the adaptation of 60 Minutes that you all know here in the US. Yeah, they're going to record a few things about Nucamp. So don't be shy. Continue to ask your questions. The good news is you're not going to be on camera, but yeah. So we're going to be streaming that live as always, and then live on the TV channel as well. So without any more delay, let's talk about Nucamp. And most of you, I'm sure, are here to really figure out which coding bootcamp you'd like to join, wondering if coding is the career that you want to pursue, and the best way to do that. And so you've stumbled upon Nucamp, or maybe a friend told you about it. And what we'd like to share with you is how different we are compared to other coding bootcamps. The first thing that really differentiates us is our social mission to help everyone, every aspiring developer, enter the digital economy. And we really mean it. And by everyone, we mean that we've created the most affordable coding bootcamp that's out there, and also one that's probably going to be the closest to where you live. Before the pandemic, we had locations in 180 cities, and we are still recruiting locally so that you'll always be grouped with other local students and local instructors. But the price point is probably also what made you very curious about Nucamp. We have created a formula that allows us to provide you with really high quality education at very much a fraction of the cost. So when other coding bootcamps are going to charge you 15,000 or 20,000, we're going to be able to deliver a similar service at 10 times less than that price. And then what's pretty exciting to us is how for the last 6 months, we've been rated #1 in the US on 2 websites, Course Report and Career Karma, rated by graduates, and really kind of a testimonial for us of the quality of education that we provide. So I kind of hinted at how different we were from other coding bootcamps, but let me actually go more into the details of that. If you're thinking about becoming a developer, that's Pauline kind of trying to hide now. I don't know if we caught that that mic drop on the mic. Anyway, if you're thinking about becoming a developer, you should definitely start with online bootcamps or online training. And the reason I'm saying that, and that's very much on the right-hand side of the screen right now, is it's a very affordable way to get started. It's super easy to, buy a course on Udemy for $10 and really figure out if that's something that you enjoy. So that's very much where you should start. Like anyone should start. Buy a course, go through it, see if you enjoy it, see if that's something for you. Now, the challenge of that is, and you probably have done that already, or if you're going to do it, you're going to experience that, it's really hard to complete. Life gets in the way all the time, and it's pretty difficult to keep the motivation, keep the passion, especially if you're struggling with some concepts and you need help. The problem is, in those environments, you actually have a really hard time getting help. And so you should start there, and most likely you're not going to be able to complete there. And so you're going to look at the alternative. And the alternative is what we call traditional bootcamps. And so that's on the left-hand side of the screen right now. The traditional bootcamps are going to provide to you that support, that help from an instructor, from the structure of a well-defined curriculum. You're going to be there, 9 to 5. You're going to know exactly what you're supposed to do every day, and you're going to follow that track. Great if you are able to afford it, and not just afford it from a tuition cost standpoint, but really afford it for everything else. Like first, if you really want to benefit from this traditional bootcamp experience, you're going to have to most likely quit your job to join an immersive bootcamp. Or if you don't have a job, you're still going to have to be full-time. And for many, that's a pretty tough thing to do, because even though you may not like the job you're in, most likely it's the job that pays the bill. And so you're going to have to be really thinking about, quitting that job and then making a huge bet that it's going to pay out in the end. But then let's talk about the cost. It is a high cost. Typically, those programs, they're going to go from $12,000 to $15,000 to $30,000, and not everyone can afford that. And so if you already have a student loan, you're going to think twice about getting another student loan. And then, of course, there's, hey, is there one near you? Those boot camps typically have been in the most populated areas, so 13, 14 cities in the US. And so if you live 2 hours from one, well, you're out of luck. You're going to think about commuting, and you're probably not going to want to do that. So traditional boot camps, again, lots of benefits, but also very much a ton of risks and pitfalls to that. So what is Nucamp? Well, Nucamp is very much taking the best of both worlds. It takes the affordability, the flexibility that you will find in the online bootcamp space, and it adds all the structure and the support and the instructor that you will typically get in a traditional bootcamp. And what it keeps is the low cost. So high quality, flexible, very low cost. You can join us for less than $2,000.
Nice.
All right. And I should mention, ask your questions online here on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or YouTube. We're all going to get to those questions in about 25 minutes now. And we'll go at the top. We'll start at the top and really answer all those questions. So I see a few from Ashley, Pamela, Eric, Kelly. Ask your questions, and we'll get to them in about 25 minutes now. A little bit of Nucamp history. We started in the state of Washington in 2017. We're actually going to enroll more than 10,000 students this year. And we've launched 2,000 boot camps. We've had 300 instructors working with us and in the industry. If you read our reviews, you're going to see that many students are talking about their instructors and really giving them praise. And I'll explain that. Actually, I think Zandra will explain that in a minute. Mm-hmm. And we talked about, the reviews. Well, on Course Report right now, we're the #1 in the US, #1 rated, with almost 1,200 reviews now, last time I checked, and a really high score. So check this out.
Wow.
All right, and this is very much it for me. I'll answer your questions with Zandra and Gani, but Zandra, why don't you talk to us about the complete software engineering path?
Thank you so much. So welcome. If this is your first time seeing this lovely graphic, then you're probably wondering, hey, did the price go up? No, it didn't. This is our total offering from beginner to the job hunting ready stage. So you'll start with web development fundamentals, HTML, CSS, basic JavaScript, your bread and butter for anything on the web. Then you'll dive into backend with SQL, Devops, and Python, where you'll go into basics of Python and data structures and algorithms, and also SQL, deploying your projects to the 3 top cloud providers, Azure, Google, and AWS. And then you'll go to full stack. You can stay with us and go through front-end development with JavaScript, go through your React and React Native frameworks, which we'll get into a little bit later, and also some JavaScript backend technologies that weren't covered in the backend with Python course. And then you'll get into a kind of job hunting workshop, which is an exciting new addition to career services that we already have a great package there. The main benefit, if you're already a student with us, you can continue on in your course. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything. But if you're if you need to finance all of these courses, you can finance them again for under $5,000, and you can get it all financed in one shot with our partners Ascend and Climb. So I think that pretty much covers it. If Ludo, you can take me on to the next slide. Thanks. And then you see here we have a couple of options for you. If you're a beginner, you definitely want to start with Web Fundamentals. It's pretty much 99% of the websites out there, I think, Gani, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it's baked in there somewhere. If you're a beginner, you might not know that. So it'd be great to cover those in our 4-week class. And it's $349 if you register early. Then backend with SQL and Devops, it's a great opportunity to go through some of the theory behind how you're going to approach your code, how you're going to solve coding algorithms and challenges. And that's data structures and algorithms. So you have that kind of grounding. Then you can take either front end or go on with full stack. You can go either into Web Fundamentals, or you can go after Web Fundamentals, you can go into full stack, or you can go into backend. So recommended path is fundamentals and backend, and then full stack. If you're an advanced learner with us, welcome. Awesome. We got something for you too. You want to take fundamentals and then continue straight on into full stack, and then round it off with backend and DevOps. So 2 different paths you can take there. Our schedule and format is, as Ludo mentioned at the outset, hybrid. So it's not, 8 to 5 p.m. each day, quit your job kind of thing. It is you studying at your own pace during the week, your schedule, and then Saturday you have that live workshop with your instructor. Right now it's live online, and you'll have a kind of recap of what you studied during the week. So you want to spend a minimum of about 2 hours per day. Could be more or less depending on your comfort level or the difficulty of the section that you're currently in. But you'll be watching our custom videos, be going through our content, quizzes, interacting with your classmates and instructor in the forums. And then again on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., you have that live workshop. And then you'll submit your workshop assignment for a grade by an awesome instructor such as Gani. And then you'll go into the next week, that Saturday night. Awesome. So these fine looking folks are just a selection of instructors at Nucamp, and they are industry practitioners. So you're getting that experience level, but you're also getting not a full-time instructor who just works at a boot camp all day. They're actively seeing what's going on in the industry and bringing it to you in your workshops. And they really do give back to the learner community. And it's not that our instructors are mercenary and they're there for a paycheck. They're adequately compensated, but really I've found that most of our instructors are very warm and giving back, and they're mostly local to you, to wherever you register in. Thanks a lot. So I think Gani is going to take it from here. Thanks there, Gani.
Thanks, Sandra. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about how you can become a junior developer. So technically speaking, anyone who graduates, who's brand new at coding, who graduate from a boot camp, will be a junior developer. You have JavaScript, you have Python, JavaScript being number 1, and Python being number 3. Currently, as far as the web development goes, JavaScript is quite popular when it comes to creating mobile applications and creating a single-page applications, even working with PWAs, progressive web applications and such. You will utilize JavaScript. And Python is quite popular when it comes to working with data, algorithms, and so on and so forth. Obviously, algorithm is similar throughout the whole industry. So any language you You would still have to learn algorithms. As a junior developer, average salary is 70,000. Now, this actually depends. I want to make sure that you understand. There are some folks that already have some sort of careers out there. Let's say if you're working as a hotel manager, let's say, and you want to switch over to a web developer. Most likely, there are companies out there that are looking for web developers who were hotel people in the past. You already have that experience. Now, that puts you at a higher price range. I just recently worked with someone as a career coach who has a 15 years of finance experience and switched over to a web developer. And he's making well over 100,000 as a developer. So again, it depends on your previous job, what you had, and we always utilize that to get you forward. There is a Nucamp blog article. Please check that out about getting a job after our bootcamp. Lily, can you get the next slide, please? Thank you. So let's talk about the full stack with mobile development. The process is quite simple. We first start with the fundamental, as Sandra said. We always recommend taking fundamental unless you are going to test out of it, which there is a test for, and Luda will actually share the link later on. Then you will start with the front end with Bootstrap, which is a framework. So we kind of talk about web and mobile at the same exact time. The thought process is that you design mobile first and then scale it up to the web because mobile have been utilized more these days than a desktop application. So you don't have to create multiple applications. You create one application that is responsive and seeable in both platforms. Then we move on to front end with React, which is a JavaScript framework. We're going to utilize ES6 concept of JavaScript. We're going to learn React. We're going to be creating a single page application. At this point, you will be working on a project of your own, creating an application. So we talk about, I think it's a little puzzling process for some of the folks that do not know how single page applications work. So it's technically a single page, but the code, as you request it, it gets delivered. So we have a lot of techniques, a lot of algorithms, a lot of thoughts, architecture that needs to go in place to make sure it's working properly. And at Nucamp, that's what you're learning as well. And then take you from there to React Native, where you can actually deploy your project that you worked on to a iOS device or a Android device. So both stores you can deploy your projects. And from there, you take to the back end. So up to the front end, you're going to be completing your first certificate, and then it takes you to the back end certificate, which is with Node.js, Express, and MongoDB. So that completes your full MERN stack. And then from there, you go into Python. Python is a 3-step course. You start with the fundamental class. We talk about all the object-oriented programming you will be learning with Python. Very important. Data structures and such. And then you go from there to the SQL with Python, where you are going to learn more about relational databases, all your SQL queries. So SQL is actually technically a free database, but how the relational works, ERD diagrams and such. We'll talk about all that good stuff. You will also be learning how to do data modeling, and the most important thing is algorithms and data visualization and such. So you're actually going to learn all that stuff. And then from there, you go into DevOps, where we actually use Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud to deploy your project over to the real world. So you're learning all 3 things. And most importantly, you're learning something about CI/CD, which is the #1 tool that's used to deploy your code from Git over to the production environment. You're also utilizing Docker. You're Dockerizing your code to be deployed on AWS and such. Actually, technically, any cloud services you can use Docker with, but it's very important. Pretty much every employer out there is using CI/CD pipelines and Docker. Kubernetes is one of the big ones that's being utilized again. So you're learning with that as well. So very important concepts in DevOps. Can you go to the next slide, please, Lila? Okay, so as far as the project goes, you are going to be working on a lot of projects throughout the whole process. With full stack, you're kind of completing about 22 to 25 projects. These are some of the projects that our graduates have worked on. Ludo, can you show us a few projects, please?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So you can actually check out those projects on our website following this link. And I always have issues. There we go. Let me bring it over. And why are we showing you those projects? It's because these are really the projects that are going to carry you even after your bootcamp. That's really what you want to be able to showcase to a potential hiring manager. You want to be able to talk about your project, what you've built, why you build it, and what was challenging about it. You really want to use that to funnel pretty much your passion, your knowledge, and the depth that you've achieved. Now, our students are producing right now projects using React Native, so it's going to be a mobile app, or just using React. And so this one actually was showcased on Monday during our graduation. So let me talk to you about this one. And I'll say sometimes you find a project and you're like, it needs to be live. I want to be able to use it now.
It should be a real app.
Yeah, and I think this one is, because I think you can actually check it out. I don't see the URL. Maybe you do. But let me pause here. What that one does is pretty much when you have a potluck, you want to make sure that your guests are not all going to bring, the same Caesar salad. And so you have that website that allows you to make sure that no two guests are going to bring the same thing. So isn't it cool, right? And it's using React, using Node.js on the back end. I think it's MongoDB or something like that on the back end as well. So one great here. Let me find another one. Oh, that one is brilliant as well. You're like, I hope they do that.
I'm Jonathan Cardenas, and this is my full stack development camp portfolio project.
So the story, let me actually share with you a little bit of the UI. There we go. So the story of this app, the student is actually a police officer, but he's kind of the how do you say that? CSI? Yeah, CSI kind of officer. They're collecting evidence. And they're like, we don't really have a good way to collect and store and record digitally the evidence when you're on a scene. And so he built that app. And we were telling him, hey, you're probably the best person to actually make that app a reality, because you know all the systems that it needs to integrate with. And that seems like something that should be out there already. And so another really interesting concept from a student, something that's very important is to really stay close to your industry when you think about the project you want to build. Because as you do that, you will know exactly what needs to be done in your industry, what problem needs fixing, and you will constantly know about the new feature that you're going to need. And that's really, again, that project needs to carry you 6, 9, a year after your bootcamp. And so continuously inventing new features and making your app or your website even better is going to be very important. So leverage your industry knowledge to do that. All right, I think that's going to be it for the demo. Gani, back to you.
Thanks, Ludo. Thank you for those thoughts. Obviously, what you said exactly matters. As far as the schedule goes, the schedule is ready. You can schedule a class or register for class now. Register within your city or your time zone. So that is a recommendation, because once we go in person or in your work field, you might see the same folks again. So register in your city. That's what we recommend. Now, if someone who's not a morning person and wants to register, let's say you're in EST and you want to, get a class at like 12 o'clock, noon or something, then you can schedule for a PST class. This way you have that extra time to wake up and come to the class. So you can schedule classes or register for classes in different time zones to meet your needs. But just make sure you're kind of ready for that. Most likely you will see the same students over and over again. Our early bird full stack is available on October 11th in a few days. So please go ahead and register. Luda, can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so we do offer some scholarships. There are 4 total scholarships. As you can see, there's a little bit of money left in high school graduates. So if you're a high school graduate and you want to learn how to code, you could qualify for that scholarship. There's only $4,000 left in that budget. New You is another scholarship that is available for anyone who's recently been denied for a student loan. And there is also, again, some money left in that particular budget. Warrior Rising is a military veteran scholarship. If you're an active duty member, feel free to apply for that scholarship. And then we have Reskill America, which is one of the scholarships that I think most of the folks from Best Buy use that scholarship funds. But it's pretty much for everyone who has been recently impacted by COVID-19. I know there's a big layoff at Best Buy, so I think most of the folks did join us, and some of the teachers, some of the leaders and such as well. Next slide. Okay, thank you. So one of the most important metric when you're looking at a school is employment rate. Our employment rate is 82%, and the secondary most important metric is the graduation rate. Our students who join the boot camp graduate all the way through the program, so they graduate. We have 72% graduation rate. Now, for whatever reason, some folks do not complete, so that is a really, really good number. And our goal at the end to make sure that everyone graduates with the skill set they need to continue within the world of coding. With the graduation, with the employment rate, you have a few other things that Nucamp offer. One-on-one career coach. So as I said, I am one of the career coaches as well. So I do meet with students every week. Just recently met with a few students this week as well. Nationwide job board. So we have job board that's available on your campsite, and also will, as a career coach, will help you find jobs. 6-week career development program, career preparation, resume, and hackathons and such. You do get a LinkedIn premium membership, 30 days. And technically LinkedIn also offers 30 days, so you get 60 days total free. Lifetime access to content. One of the good things about Nucamp, all the content that you learn, it never goes away. And let's say every quarter when Ludo or other folks work on upgrading the content or add new courses or whatnot, or add new content to the course, you are going to get notification that, hey, new content is available. You can actually go ahead and learn it. It's available to you. So it's a lifetime content availability, which is amazing. Next slide, please. All right, Ludo, you want to take that one, or you want to go for it?
I'll take it. So to continue on what Gani was saying regarding employment rates, we have been talking to our graduates like every week, and so we've produced a ton of testimonials. Those students here and graduates found the job. If you follow this link, let me show you here, you're gonna really have access to a wide library of testimonials. Ryan is the latest one we've published, Milton before that. But yeah, I mean, if you're wondering if you can make it, chances are if you go there, you'll find someone who maybe was in the same job that you were before and made the switch. So go check it out. Tons of really inspiring stories that can help you actually make that jump as well.
And just to add with what Ludo said, most of the students were, well, not most, some of the students were mine. I did teach as well. So
oh, yeah.
They're real students. They're not actors or fake or anything. They're real people. And some of the folks I worked with in the career coaching, if they were not my student. But
that's right.
I do know that.
It's really nice. It's nice that you put the social links too on there, so people could actually reach out to them theoretically.
Yep. That's right. All right. So, well, we are pretty good at finishing in 30 minutes all the time. We're getting really good at this. Thank you, Gani. Thank you, Zendra, for joining me. We're going to switch now to your questions. And I see that we have a ton of people asking plenty of different questions. Gani,
Yes.
do you want to go first?
Well, first of all, I want to say hello to Mohammed. He said he was asking if we're live on Facebook. I said, yes, we are live. I want to make sure that he knows we are live. This is not pre-recorded. So we're definitely live. I saw one of the questions coming. He said, hello, and are you live? So I just want to let you know that we are live. A lot of questions about how the class is set up. So 4 weeks or 5 weeks, fundamental class is 4 weeks, and the other classes are 5 weeks long. The structure is that you learn on your own from Monday to technically Friday, or actually Sunday to Friday. Saturday, you are going to have a workshop, which is 4 hours long. You have instructor-led classes, so you're going to be working with an instructor. Instructor will be able to see your screen, will be able to share notes, will be able to do some code for you, help you with the code. They're there to walk you through with every single thing. Now, during the week, you have access to the instructor through Slack. We have every class has their own channel. So one of the other good things about Nucamp, which I think we forgot to kind of mention, 12 students are max per class, which is a very good thing. Per instructor, there's only 12 students. And one instructor is only teaching one class at a time.
Right.
So, you're working with 12 students and instructor. So you have a Slack messenger where you are using a channel, and pretty much ask your question. Instructor gets back to you right away. I usually check every 6 to 7 hours actually on my phone, so I get messages when someone asks a question. But yeah, you have access to live instructor. I want to say 24/7, but just be respectful of someone's time. Don't message after 12 midnight.
That makes sense.
You do have access.
My code. Look at my code now.
Hey, let's. So there's one question here from potential student from Canada, wondering, can I join this bootcamp? You can. Actually, you absolutely can. We are online, 100% online right now. So what I would suggest you do is look up your time zone. So online Central, online Pacific, online Eastern, and register there.
Yeah, I currently have 2 students that are from Canada.
Oh, cool. And I think we have people from Europe. Oh, and since you're here, yes, if you're French and you're just watching this on 66 minutes, you can register to Nucamp. You can, assuming you can talk a little bit of English and read English, you can register. I will suggest registering in the Eastern community, online Eastern, and you can join us and say hi in French to me on Slack. Bonjour et bienvenue.
Smooth. Nice.
Okay, you want to take this one, Zandra? Is there any accommodations for students with learning disabilities?
Yes, I wouldn't call it accommodations. We do have that one-on-one chat with your instructor that you can do via Slack that Gani already mentioned. So you can kind of get that extra attention. We also have in our Slack community, we strongly encourage students to reach out for help. Don't stay stuck. And it depends on, what kind of issue you're dealing with personally. We have some students who need subtitles. We have some students who maybe they have some other time impacting issue where maybe they want to retake the course and, kind of slow things down a bit. So there are ways that we can give extra assistance. If you wanted to go off more on that, Ludo, let me know.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
You want to add something, Gani?
No, I was going to say, just make sure you let your instructor know that, hey, whatever is your disability, just let your instructor know.
Excellent.
Your instructor will accommodate you. I personally have worked with many folks with disability. Either you are super smart and you want to know extra things, so perhaps share more content with you that you can learn. So just to make sure everyone's challenged, just let your instructor know.
Great. Yeah, that's a very good point. There was another question about someone in Canada around job services. And I'm highlighting this one because we do not offer the same levels of services. So typically, for example, the job that we post are from the US, for the US only. But everything else is very much available for someone in Canada. So just wanted to make sure that that was clear. Okay.
Well, there's a question on YouTube about having my company pay for this. However, Nucamp does not offer an option to send a payable invoice.
It's the first question, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the very first one? Okay, what is
Yeah.
the time stamp? You know?
Oh, I have no idea. Adam
42.
Adam ANT.
No, not 42.
Oh,
Let
42.
me see.
Oh,
Is it 42? No,
I
that's
see, I
not-
see, I see. No, actually, I don't have it here, but that's okay. It's a great question. So we can, and I don't know who you actually reached out to, but we can exceptionally handle invoices. We are going to work on a better system to help and allow third parties to pay for tuition, including businesses. That's clear. Right now, we're very much centered around serving customers, not businesses. But we are going to be able to do that in next year, definitely. For now, if you email, and we should be able to actually accommodate you on a occasional basis.
Nice.
Yeah, the usual case scenario with the companies is that you pay first, you show that you passed or got a grade, and they will pay you. I think that's the usual case scenario.
That's
and
right.
that scenario still works at Nucamp.
Awesome.
Okay, let me take this one from Caroline. If one were interested to complete the software engineering path and wanted to finish sooner than 11 months, can you take more than one course at a time? Yeah, and Gani, you're making the face, but yeah, the answer is no, right?
Well, if Kara, if you could keep up with one class, I know a lot of students have struggled. It's a boot camp. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be learning a lot of stuff. So I would say no. And I think somebody already said Saturday classes. That's the only thing we offer. So you cannot take two classes at the same time. But there's a lot of stuff that will be thrown at you.
There is someone. I had a talk this week, and someone actually was very ingenious, trying to actually do that. And the way they were thinking about doing it was to register for one class in the Eastern time zone, and register for the other class at the same time in the Pacific time zone. And so, and I pretty much said, and the question to me was something along the lines of, "Is that insane?" And I said, yes, it is. But I never thought about doing something like that. And you'll have like a 30 minutes overlap, But yeah, it will be insane. I agree. You don't want to do that. I don't think you do. So
yeah,
if you have
that
extra
would be
time,
pretty impressive.
Yeah, if you have extra time, I would suggest as you learn, spend more time on your project.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And some of the projects we have shown you today, those folks worked day and night to make an amazing project. You're learning as you're creating a project. So there's a lot of learning to go there. So I would suggest that rather than taking two classes at a time.
That's right. Zandra, do you see one that you'd like to answer?
You guys have been covering pretty well. I see 04. It's not really a question though, actually.
I'm closer to
Tierra, confused about
minutes.
okay. The recommended sequence of courses.
Well, actually, that's a good one. That's kind of the same as this one.
Oh yeah. So if you are, as I mentioned a little bit, if you're already in one of our courses, no worries. You can still take the courses, the bootcamps one by one, and you can most certainly do backend after that. And for Tierra Z, if you are confused about the order recommended, it's for beginners, web development fundamentals 4 weeks, backend bootcamp 16 weeks, and then full stack 22 weeks, or front end, which is 16 weeks. So start out the beginner. If you're already a little bit in advance, you already know some basics, you could do web fundamentals and then right into full stack and then do backend as Eric looks to be doing.
Awesome. Let me actually cover a few here that are easy to answer. How many hours a week of interaction with the instructor? So it's 4 hours on Saturdays live, and then during the week, it's going to be online using Slack. So asynchronous interactions.
So
And then,
below,
does your instructor grade and give feedback on projects? Yes, your instructor grades your assignment that you're working on the Saturday, during the Saturday workshops. Next, yeah.
what I
Yanni,
was going to say, as far as the hours of the week, most of the instructors are meeting once or twice extra during the week, besides Saturday. So you have more time. If you need anything, just let the instructor know. That's all. Just talk. Let us know. If you need more help, we will be accommodating. We'll have another session as needed.
That's right. Let's cover. Which one? Do you see any that you like to cover? And we're very much
There's a
too early. We're very
12.
early in the stream. We're gonna have to actually go fast on some of those questions.
I see.
looking at
Oh
some
yeah.
questions from Padmore at 1212.
Yeah. hmm
In regards to if you have HTML, CSS, but no JavaScript, I would suggest taking the fundamental. Unfortunately, you cannot. Okay, well,
So the answer to that one is yes. There's 2 weeks of JavaScript in the 4 weeks fundamental. So yeah, you should probably start there. Who wants to cover that one? 14 from Connor Brown, 14 minutes. Mark.
I'll take that one. So Connor, yes, good question. We do have students who do have to work Saturdays. At the current time, we don't have any offerings on Sundays. It's something that has been mentioned and thrown about a few times. So we're, it will depend on the demand and how things work out with our future. But the workaround that Gani mentioned, where you might want to register in a different time zone and see if that helps you with your work schedule. You just have to be very careful about minding the time zones. But yeah, it's only Saturdays at this time.
Great. How about
yeah.
Alan?
That's the question I was going to say.
Oh, good. So go for it.
No, you can answer. Well, the classes are, yes, they're live and online. We do not have in-person classes just yet because of COVID, but prior to that, we did.
Perfect. Question here from Oluwatosin. I'll take that one. Please, which of these languages is relevant to artificial intelligence and machine learning? So I would say Python is more relevant to artificial intelligence and machine learning because of its connection to data science. That being said, we do not have bootcamps that really teaches artificial intelligence or machine learning. So our Python bootcamp is very much backend manipulation of SQL data. We're not touching on data science or AI or machine learning at this time.
So technically, to learn AI, you would need to know language more in an advanced level. So the first step will be to take the bootcamp to get to that level.
So that person made that statement, that comment, I think 4 or 5 times in the stream, and I agree. It's not enough for the what is he saying? The JavaScript. So the JavaScript in HTML is only 2 weeks, and yes, you need more time to learn JavaScript. The point of the 4 weeks is to give you an introduction to it. So you have that. This one really quickly. We do not teach PHP at this time. PHP is a great platform. Lots of stuff running on PHP. Also kind of old. And not a lot of people are starting a new project using PHP. And I will venture saying probably nobody starts a new project using PHP. So we do not teach it.
So I saw one at 18 minutes from Chester about projects. Sorry to jump back.
There you go. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, there, Chester. You have about 16 projects during the course of the bootcamp, full stack, but completed, polished, ready to go that you'll be happy to show to an employer. I usually see, and Gani, I don't know what you see, like maybe 3 or 4 projects that are, in their portfolio. Maybe some people, you might have 2 really nice looking projects. So it's going to depend on you polish up and take to the final level.
Well, so technically there will be 20-ish projects total, right? You have your weekly projects, you have your full website projects, So 3 big projects, main projects as you're going to call it, but weekly, every week you have a project that you're working on. So it should be about 22 to 25.
Your workshop assignment, yeah.
There's a
Hey, quick
question
answer to this
from,
one from Paul. Can your instructor see your screen when you're in the workshop? Yes, absolutely yes. And we actually strongly encourage that for the reason that you're mentioning, to help you debug your code. Let me actually address as well this one from Igor, because it's going to allow me to dive into how we monitor quality of our bootcamps. So what percentage of your Python instructors know Python? Well, it's supposed to be 100%, absolutely. The way we recruit instructors is we have 2 interviews. One is kind of a behavioral, meaning, are you going to be a good instructor? And the other one is technical. Do you know Python? So if you are experiencing a Nucamp instructor who does not know the technology, you have a weekly feedback available to you that's going to actually alert us of that situation. We expect every Nucamp instructor to have a rating of 4.2 out of 5. And if they do not, we're going to help them first, because sometimes it's just the nerves of being a first-time instructor. But if we see like they're actually not really up to par, and for whatever reason, we will actually change instructors and make sure that you are receiving the education that you are expecting to receive. So yeah, I looked at the ratings for Nucamp Python instructors, and I think we are in average at the 4.6 mark, which doesn't mean that everyone is a fantastic Python instructor, but we have a process in place that relies on you really giving us that type of feedback so that we can take action. So I hope that helps.
Nice.
All right.
There's a bunch of questions from Sir Mice at 1224,
Yeah.
3 in a row. First one about the Devops. So yes, you're learning 3 different platforms to deploy. So you should be able to work with Devops, I guess all 3. And then Docker and CI/CD. So you're creating all that stuff. Extensively cloud programs, platforms. So yeah, so all 3, as I mentioned, there are 3 big ones out there right now. Being that you're utilizing any sort of data architecture and whatnot, you're most likely going to be using AWS.
Yeah. And I would say,
again,
I mean, the question is how extensively as well. And so I would say not too extensively. So we're touching on that mostly in the Python curriculum. And we're really touching on that on the 3rd and last course of the Python curriculum. So it's already like kind of a third of what we teach during that Python curriculum. So we are touching on them. We help you actually deploy. We teach you CI/CD and DevOps tools. But if you're thinking, hey, am I going to get a certification for those cloud platforms after that? No, that will not be enough. So it's a great introduction. We kind of teach you what you need to know, what we feel you need to know to get started, but it's not extensively deep in the cloud platforms.
Okay.
All right.
So we see about holidays at the 26-minute mark.
Yes. Yeah, no rest for the wicked.
Let's see.
Huh? So we do start.
Yeah, not really a
Yeah,
question.
we can't really change our schedule with the holidays. We will do something special for the Saturday sessions that are on New Year's Eve, on Christmas, because they actually fall on the Saturday. But the week of the Thanksgiving week, well, we'll be starting, and we will be expecting you to do what you need to do on the Saturday, that Saturday, since it's not a holiday.
And Connor Brown at 28 talked about hackathons. We do hackathons with Mint Bean.
Oh yeah, Mint Bean is awesome.
You kind of team up and problem in a short amount of time, build something. It's useful for graduates who want to keep their skills sharp. So it's also good for networking, and so really good there. I also see you kind of answered surmised 92's question about cloud certifications. Not really quite enough. And let's see. certain laptop that's needed at the 32-minute mark?
There are specs on our website. If you go to the FAQ, typically we ask for 8 GB of RAM, SSD, drive, a decent processor, so not an i3, for example, from Intel, more of an i5 and AMD Ryzen.
Right.
Question from Lewis. Yeah. That's
well, that's an
you
answer.
do for now.
Yeah, go for it, Kenny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the question, the answer is yes. Yes, absolutely, you can.
Exactly. From B. Seguda. So the honest answer is yes. There will be some employers who are going to be very strict, and if you not have a 2 or 4 year degree, they're not going to want to consider you. The good news is there are less and less of those because the world is changing. Even top FANG, Amazon, Microsoft are kind of revisiting their criteria. So, but yeah, there's still probably some that still do.
Yep,
Yes,
they won't
there's
be able to maintain that for much longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of employers that still ask you to have bachelor's degrees, but there are employers that will say, well, that's fine, as long as you have working knowledge, we'll take you. So, yeah.
I'll take that one as well. Hey, Wallace asking, hey, I have a problem with checkout. I'm asked to pay, even though I was approved by Climb Credit. So 24 hours, you finalize all your documents with Climb Credit. You should be getting an email from us with a coupon code. That code, when you apply it to your registration, that's when you should see the cost go down from $349 here to $100. So wait for 24 hours. If you haven't received that email with the code, then email info@nucamp.co.
Right, and I see 35-minute mark, Jeremy Bird.
Yep.
Might be a good time for the quiz yourself link. Test yourself.
Oh yeah,
you can take a little assessment. You don't have to tell us your score. It's just for your own self-assessment, and you can kind of see if you get an 85% or better, then you can consider yourself ready for full stack.
That's right. All right.
Yeah, that actually takes us to the next question at 12:35 from Chester. Why do I need to take fundamentals if I'm going for full stack? So fundamental actually does two things, right? It first of all, kind of tells you, hey, are you good for coding? Is this something for you? Before you spend money to enroll into full stack class. So it kind of does the two things for you. And secondary thing is that it kind of brings you to the same level as everyone else. So you're ready for full stack.
That's right.
Yeah, I noticed some people confuse full stack with the full offerings from Nucamp. But full stack is an industry term. Yeah, it means a developer who can do both front end and back end. It doesn't mean our full course offerings.
Oh, that's a good point. That's probably why. Yeah, you're right. I'll take that one. Is any part of the training face-to-face? Not at this time. We used to be in person on Saturdays in 35 cities. With COVID, we have lifted. I mean, we've moved everything online. We hope to go back in person in 2022 in selected cities. But for now, 100% is online. Oh, I love the sun rising in your background, Zandra. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's coming up here. That's why I always sat on that side, because I get the sun in my face. A little bit darker today, but it's all good. Let's see.
There's a question at 12:38 from Angel. What are the best ways to get along with other members in your area?
Oh, yeah.
We have community channels within Slack that you can utilize. I'm not sure if it's doable right now with COVID and whatnot. I do know that a lot of folks as attending classes in person and using their community channels were meeting up to do stuff together.
What I will add to that is we encourage you to register in your community, because then you're going to be grouped and you're going to stay together with other students in your city. And as I said earlier that we're not in person, but you will be there with other students in your classroom from that city. And so you could think about getting together if you wanted Certainly, some students are working together on their projects, and they could actually, meet at a coffee shop or something like that. So the best way to enable that is to register in your city, so that you're registering with other people in your city.
Jeremy at 1239, what level of JavaScript is recommended for front end and full stack? The answer is probably beginner's level. Yeah, ES6 for sure. That's what you would need to understand or code in front end, and we'll teach you the rest.
Haywall is speaking to me in French. Il faut fixer votre checkout, meaning you have to fix your checkout process. Send me an email, ludo@nucamp.co. Tell me what's broken about it. And I think you're the one who had the coupon code, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
All right.
So let's see. We should see some back-end projects at 40 minutes.
Well, so technically, all
after
the project.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead, Sandra.
Oh no, I'm saying after the August cohort completes,
That's
it'll
right.
be really fun to see that stuff start coming out. So maybe by the holidays we should maybe see some stuff up on YouTube or something. I don't know about.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't want to
right.
make predictions about the website.
The
Let's see.
I mean, the first cohort of Python started in August, and I think it does take us down to the end of December or something like that. So we should publish a first batch of project then.
There's a question at 1242 by Leaves
Yeah.
about what other languages they need to learn. So technically speaking, an employer could actually ask you to learn anything, whatever they're utilizing. It totally depends on the manager and the company itself. Do you need to know anything else after you are done with Learn or Python course? Probably not. An employer will tell you that, hey, you might need to learn such and such, and there's no other way around it.
All right. I'm interested in the complete software engineering path, but I've already kind of done the fundamentals. How do I skip it? So the complete software engineering path is very much registering for 4 bootcamps in a sequence. So you actually don't have to register for the web development fundamentals if you do not want to, and register for the rest. That's actually doable. So you can just do it. Just do it.
Can they do that with the financing too? Though they're gonna get approved for that, but
yeah,
they
if
won't
they do
use
the
those
financing,
funds.
That's right. That's right. The caveat is, yeah, you can skip it easily if you register directly and you pay the 300 and something at registration.
Mhm.
If you're financing the whole thing, that it will be part of it, and there's no really financing option that removes it. So yeah.
Question from Pamela at 1243. Saturday classes are recorded. The answer is no. It would require signatures from the whole class. So no.
My cat wants to get in, and it's now starting to jump on the window. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I didn't hear it.
Do you mind opening? Yeah.
What time is the Saturday classes?
Yeah.
At 1246. The answer is 9 to 1 Eastern time, and so on for CST and Pacific. So it's always 9 to 1 in your time zone. In your time zone.
Yeah.
So EST, PST, and CST.
Eric is asking, do we post projects to GitHub? The answer is yes.
Oh, we're almost out of time.
You start.
Yeah, we're 1 minute. My God, it went so fast. Okay, let's do like in a salvo. Plans to teach other CSS frameworks? Not at this time. PHP, it'll used a lot by WordPress, but I'm sorry, it's just not relevant for a new engineer.
Yeah.
What types of career? Why is it hard? No. Apple Silicon supporter. I have no idea what that means, but yes, I guess.
Is that the new
Do Instructor help students? Yeah, we do have one-on-one career coaching, and actually Gani is one of our coach. So there is one-on-one help here if you need it. Oh, but that's it. Oh no, that's not it. Do you teach TypeScript? No, we don't, but I love TypeScript.
Mhm.
I have read from feedback
All right.
that JavaScript is not covered in depth. It is true because the 4 weeks introduction bootcamp is an introduction. So that was meant to be. So if you're taking the 4 weeks bootcamp, 2 weeks is on JavaScript. And yes, 2 weeks is not enough to learn JavaScript, but that's not meant to make you an expert in JavaScript either. It's an introduction. That being said, there's nothing wrong. And actually, we strongly encourage everyone to spend as much time with JavaScript as you can. All right. Hey,
Awesome.
we're at the end of the hour. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for entertaining the French crew that was behind me earlier. Thank you, Zandra. Thank you, Gani. It was a pleasure to have you with me today. Have a great time, everyone, and see you soon on Slack. Take care.
Thanks, guys.